Bill Roth asked various people to submit ideas about what to do. And I made a drawing and sent it to him. And I think it's this one. And said that I think it was this one. And so he said, well, gee, why don't you work with Mr. Worcester, who would be the architect? And that's how I got involved. And the thing that interested me was not only the idea of preservation, but that it was an opportunity, from my point of view, to do something in an urban setting that could be a role model for streets or neighborhoods or other places in American cities, which up till that time neither I nor many other people had had a chance to do. And so I set out, I did all the street furniture outside, including the light fixtures and all that, and most of them I never had done before. And I did the benches, which, that special one, which now is all over the place. And at the time, there was no street furniture that anybody could deal with. And and there was some, Mr. Worcester was a little disabled by that time, and so I put a ramp in so that he could come up. Now, I never had thought about a ramp before. There was a lot of things, in other words, that happened there that were far-sighted. And I suppose that because it was small enough that we could do what we wanted to do as a model, instead of having to do a big, big street that then you'd have trouble getting anybody to agree to. And we had a wonderful client, too. Bill Roth was there cheering us on. As a result, the only problem there was the neighborhood, because it's at the foot of Pacific Heights. They were a little concerned about it because it was going to introduce something vibrant. They weren't sure about it. The main thing I had to do, which I agreed to do, they wanted me to take down the sign that said Ghirardelli, a lovely old sign. And I refused, and they said, well, what are we going to do? And I said, well, I'll just turn it backwards. So instead of it shining in your eyes, it'll just be there, but it won't be lit at night. So, oh, fine. So we kept that, too. It was also, for the first time, I remember the idea of putting a garage underground. And that wasn't easy. And also, we were faced a lot. I remember that Don Emmons was the one who was fussing with that, and it was very difficult, and it was very tight, and we made all the stalls too tight, but they work anyway. But if you drive in there now you'll notice that they're very tight. And also the idea was, I noticed that it says so here. There was a lot of good ideas in this sketch. We had the idea of, instead of having the garage come down like this to the sidewalk, that we would put some shops down there, which would enliven the street, which was a new idea also. And then at the corner, there was another thing. I put a staircase in that would get people off of the street along the beachfront. Yes. That brings you up. And I remember that was the only argument I had with Bill Worcester, because he said, Larry, what are you doing that for? Nobody's ever going to use that. And I said, well, I was much his junior. I said, well, Bill, I'd like to do it anyway.